I think I better start here from example 3.1, and then once we have completed this example, we are going to proceed with the remaining part of chapter 3, which is partial fraction expansion. That one subtopic, we need to use this tool, partial fraction expansion, in order to do inverse Laplace. So without further ado, we start first. Example 3.1. This is for subtopic Mason rule, which is in signal flow graph. So we read the question first. Find the equivalent transfer function, which is CS over RS. CS here divided by RS for the signal flow graph in figure below, which is figure this one. Okay, so just to recap, this is how we obtain signal transfer function for signal flow graph. We need to apply a rule called Mason rule. So Mason rule given by this equation, which is, we know that GS, the transfer function, is actually a ratio between output and output. And then it also equals to, this is the one that describes the Mason rule, which is total sum of T of Tk multiplied by delta K divided by delta. So the sigma K here is the total sum between the multiplication of Tk and also delta K. What is Tk? The Kth forward path gain, and delta K is the loop. Is the loop that did not touch the Kth forward path. This one very complicated to understand. So I will show you how to obtain delta K. So we go back to this example. So starting with this example, we need to follow several steps. That eventually will lead up to the forming of Mason rule. So we look at example 3.1. So from here we can refer back to the previous topic. So shown here. Okay, so Mason rule. Okay, we can start by finding the loop gain and then forward path gain, non-touching loop, and then the non-touching loop gain. So to make it easy, I will find the forward path gain first. So from here, the forward path gain is for those who do not remember, the definition of forward path gain is given by this one. By this definition, traversing path that start from a node. This one loop gain. This one. By traversing a path from the input. The input is here, and then this path will start from input, and then it will travel to the direction of this signal flow. So you can see the arrow here. The arrow here is moving away. From this input. So you need to follow the direction of the system path. Starting from input, which is here, input, it will eventually move away, and then from input node, and eventually it will reach this output node. Okay, so that one will describe the definition of the forward path. So we go back to our example. From here, we can identify that how many of our path. So basically, for Mason rule or signal flow graph, you need to have a very good observation in order to find the parameter related to Mason rule. So we start by finding the forward path. So you can see here, this is the input, and then this is the output. So forward path is actually route that start from input here, and then move to the direction of, observe the direction of this system here. So it will move from here to here to here up to the output. So this is I call it this is T1 or forward path 1. And then you observe again, make sure that they make sure that if there is available ada availability forward path, you need to identify. So this is the first one, and then try to find the second. If the second is available, you proceed to find the third, fourth, and so on. Okay, but for this example, so the path here, if we have one path here, and then try to observe other path. So this one is not possible because the direction here, and then this one also not possible because the direction is opposite. Okay, this one also not possible because of the direction not possible. Okay, this one is possible, but the direction in between is opposite, so we cannot consider that as a forward path. So eventually we only have one forward path. So we start by writing up forward path T1 is equal to, okay, list down the system that is related to T1. So we start by G1. Okay, starting here, so you can see G1, capital G. Make sure that the name convention is correct. Bracket bracket small case s, and then multiply by G2, capital G2, small case s, multiply by G3, small case s, multiply by G4. Multiply by G4, small case s, and then multiply by G5. G5, small case s. So this is T1. Okay, so make sure whenever you want to solve a Mason's rule, always look up for extra forward path. Sometimes they consist one, sometimes they consist more than one. Okay, make sure that you're aware of this condition. And then we go back. Once we achieve, we have obtained the forward path, we look at the loop gain. We go back to this one, loop gain. Loop gain, the definition of loop gain, the product or branch that can be found by traversing the path that start at a node and end at the same node. So you can see from here, this example. Okay, we look at the easiest one. Okay, the node start from here, and then the root start to move. Start to move from here, move. Okay, observe the direction. Move here, and then it will go back. Eventually meet at the same node. So that one is what we call loop gain. So we go back to our example question. So from here, we can identify how many. Try to identify how many forward path. So I remove this one first. From here, we can see that there are more than one. Okay, we can start by observing this one. So you can see here. Okay, this is one forward path, loop path. This is one loop, which is a combination between G2 and H1. Okay, observe the direction, and also they move, start from this node, and then go back and at the same node, and then this is the loop number 1. And then we can also identify this is the loop number 2. And then we have loop number 3. Okay, this is loop number 3, and then the final one. So this is very neat. The solution here require very concentrate observation. So you need to properly observe so that you can identify the correct number of the loop. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then the final one. Okay, so you can see starting from here and then move from here, going through G7 and then go back. Okay, but not here, so you can see the direction is opposite. So in the end, we have up to 4 loop. Okay, so we go to this one. So the best thing to do, how to start. Okay, this is how you, if you want to start, you can remember this step. First, you identify the forward path. We have starting, we have T1. T1. We have T1, which is this one, T1. T1 is equal to G1S from here. This is T1. Okay, so T1 is equal to G1S. Identify G1S, G2, G3, G4, and then G5. G1S multiplied by G2S multiplied by G3S multiplied by G4 S, and then multiplied by G5 up to the final one, which is G5S. And then from here we identify loop. If you are not sure, you can always refer back to this slide. Loop gain. We identify loop. Loop start by, okay, so from here we have this one. This is L1, this is L2, this is L3, and then the final one, which is all this root. So L1, L2, L3, and then the final one would be L4, root coming from this one. Okay, so that one L4. So we list starting from L1. Starting from L1 is equal to, okay, always follow the signal. Always include the signal G2. G2 multiplied by H1. G2S multiplied by H1S. And then L2 we have L2 is here. L2 G4 H2. G4S multiplied by H2S. And then L3, 3G7 H4. L3 G7 S multiplied by H4S. And then the last one, L4. L3, L4, L4, so you can see, the number of subsystem here is more than one. Okay, we have more than one. We have plenty of system here, so need to write down. Make sure you do not leave any missing. Okay, you do not leave any system here. So G2, G3, G4, G5, and then G6, G7, G8. So again, go to here, G2, G3, G4, G5, G6. Starting from G2, G2S multiplied by G3S multiplied by G4S multiplied by G5S multiplied by G6S, 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 5, 6, and then 7, 8. And then multiply by G7S and then multiply by G8S. So this one. So this one will conclude up to number of single loop. So you can see, this is single loop. And then from here we go for non-touching loop. Start by two loop. Okay, what is two non-touching loop? I think I already explained, so no worries. So we go back. Non-touching loop. Loop that do not have any node in common. So this means that they do not share the same path. So you can see from here, we have between, for the example, we have two non-touching loop between L1 and L2. So you can see the path here completely different. The path here completely different. So you can see, okay, they do not share the same path. Okay, so we have L1 and L2, and then we also have L1 and L3, L4, and up to that the last one, the last loop. So we go back to this example. So you can see, we have between L1 and L2, L1 and L3. So however, L4 is actually sharing the same path, so we cannot consider that as a part of the non-touching loop. So we have only three, L1 and L2, L2 and L3, and then L3, L1 and L2, L1 and L3, and also between L2 and also L3. So we have three of two non-touching loop. So you can put here two non-touching loop. Okay, so we can start by between L1 and L3. L1 and L3, which is here. Okay, so you need to list G2, H1, G2, G4, H2. G2S, G2S, H1S, G4S, H2S, and then we have L1 and also L3, G2S, H1S, and then we also have G7S and also H4S, and then the final one between L2 and also L3, L2, G2, G4, G2, H1, G4, H2, G4S, H2S, and then multiplied by G7, H4. G7S H4S. Okay, so that one complete two non-touching loop, and then we move back. Okay, we refer back at this step here, and then okay, so that one complete up to 2, so we refer back to this Mason rule lah. Okay, so you can see from here we cannot start by building up this Mason rule yet because we have not completed the delta part here. So you can see here for the delta part should be loop gain. This one we already completed. This one already completed. So we should find 3 at a time. So this means that from the question, after we have completed finding the 2 non-touching loop, we proceed to find 3 non-touching loop. And then after we have completed the 3 non-touching loop, we move on finding the 4 non-touching loop, and then move on to find the 5th, the 5 non-touching loop, 6, 7, and so on. So this one you need to do provided that the loop are available, the loop exists, the loop is easy. So from here, so you can see from here you can see two loop, two non-touching loop exists between this one and also this one. And also once we have completed that part, we also need to find 3 non-touching loop. So from here, so you can see there is one 3 non-touching loop between L1, L2, and also L3. So other than that, we cannot find more. So we only have one set of 3 non-touching loop. And then once we have completed that, so we move on to find 4 non-touching loop. So based from here, based from this observation, so we cannot see any 4 non-touching loop. Only 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. The fourth one not available even though we have 4 loop, but the fourth one is actually sharing the same path or sharing the same route. So we go back to the solution here. We find 3 non-touching loop. 3 non-touching loop. Okay, so from here you can see 1, 2, 3 between L1, L2, and also L3. So this is between L1, L2, and also L3. So need to list everything need to be listed properly. So make sure you do not miss or you do not leave any correct system here. So make sure that you observe properly. G2 S H1S multiplied by G4H2 G4S H2S multiplied by G7H4 G7S H4S. Okay, so we have completed up to 3. So again like I said if you have completed 3, then go for 4 non-touching loop. If available, you move on to 5 non-touching loop. If available, you find 6, 7, and so on. Okay, but from our observation, we can only find up to 3 non-touching loop. 1, 2, 3 here. So this one already completed. So we just stop at 3 non-touching loop, and then we go back to the definition here of Mason rule. So the delta here, we can complete the delta part. So the delta part is actually given by this equation. Delta is equal to 1 minus total summation of loop. This is single loop. So you can see here the pattern shown here. This is minus, this is minus, this is plus, this is minus, this is plus. So you can see the sign is alternating between loop. So you can see from here Starting from the first loop, single loop should be negative, and then if available, 2 non-touching loop, then it should be positive, and then if available, 3 non-touching loop, going back to negative again, and then if available, 4 non-touching loop, from negative, go back to positive. So the sign here is alternating sign. Okay, make sure you're aware of that. So the equation given is delta is equal to 1 minus single loop, total sum of single loop, then plus total sum of 2 non-touching loop, and then minus total sum of 3 non-touching loop, and then plus 4, and then minus 5, and so on. But for our case, we only obtain up to 3. We only obtain up to 3, so we go back to this solution. So we find delta. So delta is given by, we find delta is given by this equation. Delta 1, then we start by minus minus 1 touching loop, total sum. So this means that L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus L4, and then plus okay, we go back if not sure, we go back. Okay, the first one minus, and then the second one should be plus and then this is the single single loop and then we move by plus total sum of 2 non-touching loop, L1 L3 plus L1 this is L1 L2 non-touching loop, L1 L2 sorry this one is actually L2 this one is actually L2 G2 H1 G4 G4 G2 H1 G7. Okay, so make sure you check everything you check your answer, make sure that it is correct. L1 and L2 this one also should be L1 and L2 L1 and L2, and then we have L1 and L3 plus L2 and also L3 L2 L3, and then the previous one plus, so for 3 non-touching loop should be minus, and then total sum L1 L2 L3. Okay, so no need to sum because we only have one 3 non-touching loop, one set of 3 non-touching loop. So this is the value for determinant. Make sure okay, make sure that you write down the value so I did not put because too long okay, make sure L1 you should put what is L1 is actually G2H1, so you should write down G2S H1 okay S, and then what is L3, okay, you put down the root for L3 L4 and so on, and also you should put down the root, okay, the system the root for 2 non-touching loop, and then do the same thing and then minus, and then this one the root for this part 3 non-touching. Okay, in actual solution you must put down you must copy everything from the previous step, you put down here. Okay, so but I do not put here, so I'm hoping that you would do by putting the value here, and then once we have find the delta, we move on to find delta k. How to find delta k? This is the confusing part. So in order to find delta k, this is usually delta. This is really delta minus by total sum of loop gain term in delta that touch the k forward path, or it is actually delta k formed by eliminating from delta those loop that touch the k TH4 path. So in order to find out delta K, we go back to this part. Okay, so this part, we know that the forward path is actually from here to here. Okay, this is T1. Okay, so this is actually T1. Okay. So what is delta K? Delta K is a loop that do not touch the root, the path of T1. So based from this example, so you can see based from our observation, we can see that this is L1, L2, this is L3. So L3 is not touching. L3 is not touching any path, that is related to T1. Okay, so that one would be the simplest explanation based from your observation. Or as you can see here, we can eliminate from delta. So again, we need to go back to this example. Okay, so delta K is actually delta 1 because this one is referring to T1. If we have more than one forward path, so it should be delta 1, delta 2, and so on. But right now, for the example, we have only one, so delta 1, K is only 1, so delta 1. Okay, so minus 1 minus. Okay, so we go back to delta. Okay, we go back to delta. So we need to identify which loop is not using the same path as T1. So based from here, we can see it is actually G7 and H4. So you can see G7 and H4. So this is what I said. You need to copy the whole equation for each of these respective loop and non-touching loop. So from here, you need to identify. You need to cancel out any loop that do not any loop that share the same path with T1. So you can see G2 H1, G4 H1, and also L4. So you can see from here we have only L3. L3. So here L3 G7. So we start by L3. This is L3. L3 is here. Okay, L3 is here. So this is L3. So the rest we can eliminate. Okay, because they share the same path. If you refer back to L1, so you can see L1 is actually sharing G2. So therefore we can eliminate. And then we can also eliminate L4. L4 also sharing the same path through G2, G3, G4, and then D5. And then this one also eliminate, and then eliminate the whole thing. So eventually we only have this value G7S and then multiply by H4S. So that one will be delta K. And then once you have completed, then we can go by completing the equation of finding the transfer function by using Mason rule. So CS over RS. So total sum of TK delta K delta. So this is actually, we have only T1 delta 1 over delta. If you have more, so for example, if you have more, so you need to add up T2 delta 2, T3 delta 3 and so on up to the final but for our case we only manage to find up to 1 so this is the value delta 1. So we go back and this is the tedious part so you go back, you need to rearrange delta 1. So T1 is actually this one so you go back and then you copy this is G1, this is for T1 G1S and then multiply by G2S and then multiply up to G6 up to G5 sorry, up to G5S and then this is 41 and then for delta K 1 minus G7S multiplied by H4S and then you divided by delta. Delta very complicated so you can see from here okay, you copy down delta okay, so you need to put down 1 minus and then you go for L1. What is L1? G2H1 and then plus loop 2 and then plus loop 3 and then so on up to the final loop and then plus or minus plus 2 non-touching loop L1 and so on so this one is very tedious so you need to copy the whole thing so that one I will conclude for that machine rule. Make sure that you go back and try first if you have example then maybe after Raya break we can refer back. So that one conclude for Mason rule and then for example 3.2 I think you better
Sir.
Yeah.
Nak tanya yang non-touching loop dengan non-touching loop gain apa beza dia sir?
Non-touching loop gain tu dia merujuk pada how many referring to how many loop gain for example soalan dia beza loop dengan loop gain so loop gain so referring to how many loop for example for our question here we have up to for example we have up to 4 so the loop gain is actually 4 and then for loop non-touching loop is actually this one L1 L2 L3 and 4.
Oh loop gain tu macam bilangan berapa?
Bilangan dia.
Okay.
So that one. So ada lagi soalan? Harap menjawab soalan So we move on we continue this one I think you better try first try first if you have any problem maybe after Raya break we can look back so your test would be up to here up to Mason rule. Okay, so far if we have any additional improvement or modification or adjustment so I will inform you later nanti saya akan beritahu kemudian tapi setakat ni test 1 sampai example 3.1 dia sampai Mason rule maknanya dia chapter 1 sampai yang terkini macam ni sampai Mason rule maknanya dia yang sebelum tu ada block diagram reduction pun that one also included okay for example
saya nak tanya sir.
Ya.
Yang del tu boleh seterang yang macam
del tu apa? Delta.
Del tu.
Yang
kurang
tiga
faham
segi ni
sikit
Yang tiga segi ni Ni, yang tiga segi ni.
Yang tu sir.
Yang tiga segi ni this one referring to if you can so delta is given by this question okay, delta diberi oleh persamaan ini. Okay, tengok kemudian perhati betul-betul okay. Observe carefully the sign okay, starting after 1 should be minus and then plus and then minus and then plus. Okay, yang tu faham betul-betul. Make sure that you understand the pattern alternate sign minus plus and so on okay, and then the first one should be the loop gain. Yang ni, this one is actually single loop. Okay. Yang ni adalah single loop. So single loop should be negative. Single loop should be negative and then you plus two non-touching loop. Two non-touching loop between here. Okay, so you can see from this example between here and here. They both not share the same path. Kedua-kedua loop ni tak berkongsi satu laluan okay, berada di laluan yang berbeza. Contoh ada G2 dengan H1 untuk L1, tapi untuk L3 ni G4, G5, H3. So you can see these two loop are not sharing the same path. So you can see G2, H1, and then for this one for L1 and then for L3, G4, G5, and also H3. They both not share the same path. And then, okay, we go back. We go back, so that's why you need to follow. That's why I said you need to follow the step shown here. Okay, better you start with forward path. Okay, kenapa pasti loop forward path, and then you go for loop, single loop. This one, single loop. Okay, so from here you can see single loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from here you identify two non-touching loop between here, and also here, and also here. Two non-touching loop. And then find three non-touching loop. 1, 2, 3. They both not share the same path. So you can see between L1 and L2, the path is different, completely different. Di antara L1 dengan 2 ni, dia punya laluan dia berbeza. Laluan dia berbeza. L1 dengan L3 pun berbeza. L2 dengan L3 pun berbeza. Okay. Yang tu step dia kena pasti tu. Kalau mula dengan single these are the step you start with a single loop. And then you move on to the two non-touching loop. And then you move on to the three non-touching loop, 4 non-touching loop, 5 non-touching loop. Provided that they all exist. Okay. Lakukan buat L1 dulu, single loop dulu. Kalau ada, kemudian kalau dah siap, pergi ke 2 non-touching loop. Kalau dah habis, cari pula 3 non-touching loop. Bila dah sampai semua ni, baru kita nak kena isi ni. Maksud dia kalau macam case ni, for example this is actually single loop Kat sini adalah actually single loop. This one is actually single loop. Single loop. Okay, and then is two non-touching loop. This is actually two non-touching loop. Non-touching loop. And then this is actually three non-touching loop. Okay. So for our example, up to 3 non-touching loop. Untuk contoh kita sampai 3. Jadi kena susun untuk cari data ni. Mula dengan 1, tolak, single loop, total sum Maksud dia total sum kena jumlahkan Kalau ada kat sini ada sampai 4 loop, maknanya L1 tambah L2 tambah L3 ada 4. Total sum So for example, single loop here, you need to add sum all of these 4 loop, starting from L1 plus L2, L3, L4. So you need to plus Okay, sum, single loop, and then previously minus, and then you go for plus. This one, two non-touching loop also need to sum. Two non-touching loop sum L1 and L2 plus L1 L3 plus L2 L3 also sum. And then previously plus, so should be minus. So 3 non-touching loop should be this one. So since we have only 1, so no need to add. Okay, if we have more than 1, 3 non-touching loop, so need to plus, need to sum. Yang ni untuk delta saja. Okay. Kalau yang delta key ni, loop yang tak kongsi jalan dengan T1. Kalau untuk delta 1, kalau untuk delta 1, mana dia kita merujuk kepada laluan T1. Jadi loop yang mana tak kongsi laluan T1 adalah L3. For delta key ni, this is referring to delta 1. Okay, for example, we have only T1, so you need to refer. This is the route that T1 is taken, so you need to identify any route from loop that do not share the same route as T1. Okay, yang tu saja. Ini merujuk kepada delta K. Ada soalan lagi? Okay, tak ada soalan. Yang ni nanti bila kita balik, bila awak dah balik ni masa minggu kelima kalau tak silap saya. Okay, kita akan cuba buat latihan tengok . Okay, so sekarang ni saya nak awak faham dulu . So right now when I want you to understand first . Okay, once you have come back here after your raya break, so maybe we can start by looking at example, some of example related to lesson rule. Okay, so since no question, so I think we move on to the second part which is this is the remaining part for chapter 3 . Partial fraction expansion. Okay. Like I said previously, some of the example that I have shown here require a step that we call it a partial fraction expansion. So as promised, this topic we describe what is partial fraction expansion. So the definition, we in order, for example, this is the Laplace transform of function in the form of Laplace, okay, given by this equation. So this is in the form here is very complex. So in order to solve, in order to find the inverse Laplace of this F1, okay, so we need to apply a tool that we call partial fraction expansion. So when we apply this tool, it will make this equation or this function become simple . Okay, so that one how simple it is you will see later . So right now the concept is that it will make finding of inverse Laplace of F1 become simpler. Okay, that is the purpose . So how do we perform partial fraction? So the first thing we need to know, okay, by referring to F1, so we need to make sure that the function first must be in Laplace. Okay, and then make sure that it consists of two parts, numerator divided by denominator or numerator over denominator. Both must be in the form of Laplace. Macam contoh ni, like for example this example, numerator would be on top, and then the denominator would be the bottom. Both form in the Laplace. Okay, both form in Laplace. So once you have achieved that, so we can move on by finding the Laplace by apply the partial fraction expansion. However, if the order of numerator, so for example numerator here is power up to power of 3, the order is 3, is less than the order of ds here, then the partial fraction can be developed. Okay. However, if the order here is smaller than order of denominator, so we can develop partial fraction expansion. However, if higher, okay, is higher, for example this one, therefore we need to perform successive division. So we need to divide between the numerator with ds until the order of the numerator here become smaller than the denominator side. So for example, we have this one, the order is 3, so we need to form successive division so that the order here will become smaller than this one. And then once you have completed that, then you can move on by developing partial fraction expansion. So this one, we move on to the second slide. So in order to perform partial fraction expansion, there are three cases that you need to consider, whereby the first one would be the root. Okay, so you can see all the three cases referring to the root. Case 1 root, case 2 root, case 3 also root. What is root? Root would mean if you refer to example for case 1 root. Okay, so root so you can refer to this equation. The transfer function of gs is actually ns over ds. So ns would be the polynomial over polynomial from numerator divided by polynomial of denominator. So you can see from here, numerator and also denominator. So based from this polynomial, we try to factorize on the denominator side. which is the bottom one. We factorize and then we can obtain the term shown here. So P1, P2 up to Pn is actually the root of polynomial from denominator side. We only perform on the bottom side, on the denominator side for all three cases. Okay, untuk kesemua cases ni ya. Okay, all referring to the denominator side. And then we referring to the denominator side. So you can see from here, if we find the value of S for the first term, second term, up to the final term, n term. So P1, P2, and Pn would be the root. Okay, in negative value, in negative value. So you can see here, the root here is actually different. P1 is not similar with P2, P2 is not similar with P3, P3 is not similar with P4, up to Pn. So when that incident happen, we can say that the root are real and distinct. So you can see here the root also real value do not have any imaginary number. So P1 is actually a real number, does not have any complex number or real imaginary number. So for that one, because we can group this into case one, which is real and distinct. So you can see from here. Okay, so you can see the denominator is actually multiply between the first term, multiply second term, multiply with third, fourth, and so on up to the final value. So all the term here is multiplication. So the first step of partial fraction expansion, we need to once we have completed this one, the factorize process. So we move on by changing the root, changing the term, the first term, second, up to fourth by, so you can see here, multiplication, we change it to plus, or the summing. And then we just keep an S, and then we replace with respective coefficient. So for the first term, we can also label it as K1. Also, some book example, they put A, B, C, and so on. So for example, we just put K1, K2, up to the final value, Kn. Sampai yang penghabisan up to Kn. So you can see here from this example shown here, we have a function in Laplace 2 divided by S plus 1, S plus 2. So you can see here, already factorized. So you can see the root here, the first one is real. Okay, tak ada imaginary, no imaginary. Second one also real, no imaginary. And also, one is not similar with two, different. Okay, so it is belong to case number one. So how to solve? The best thing to do is, because case one is actually the simplest form, we can start by this one example 3.13. We can start by, if you refer back to this one, okay. So the equation here is in the form of this one. So we can move on by convert into sum of term with their respective coefficient. So we move on. We start by assigning sum of term. So you can see from here. Okay, we can move on by putting K1, assigning K1 up to the first term, which is S plus 1, and then plus, make sure that you put plus, and then K2. S plus 2. Okay, since we have only two terms, 1 and 2, so our partial expression also need to be summing of two terms, between two terms, here and also here. So if we have more, so you need to put more. Okay, K3, and so on, up to Kn. So right now, we have only two terms here, so no need for this part. So you can see here, this is Fs is equal to K1 over S plus 1 plus K2 over S plus 2. So this is complete equation between here and also here. Okay, so we can start by finding K1. K1. So in order to find K1, we need to multiply the whole equation, which is here, the whole item, the whole term with, since we want to find K1, so we need to multiply by S plus 1. So we multiply the whole equation. We multiply the whole equation by S plus 1 because we want to solve for K1. So K1 is actually 2 S plus 1 S plus 1 S plus 2 equal K1 S plus 1, and then also this one S plus 1 plus K2 S plus 2. Okay, also put since we multiply the whole equation, so this term should multiply with the respective term here. We have 3 terms, so need to multiply with S plus 1 since we want to solve for this part. Okay, and then we move on by eliminating. We simplify, eliminating common term. So this one we can eliminate between here. So this one we can eliminate. Yeah, so that one. So in the end, it will become 2 S plus 2 over equal to K1 plus K2 S plus 1 and then S plus 2. Okay, right now our intention is to find the objective here to find K1. So you can see from this equation also include K2. So in order to find K1, the variable must be K1. Okay, for this equation, we have 2 unknown, K1 and K2. So we need to eliminate K2 because we want to find K1. So we need to eliminate K2, and to achieve this, we need to set K2 equal to 0. How to achieve this? So we can refer to this part, this term. So S plus 1, in order, we need to set K2, this term here, we need to set it equal to 0. So in order to set to 0, the term here, the equation here, we must make it equal to 0. Okay, so you can see from here, if we refer to the bottom side, if we set to 0, this part will become infinite. So the best thing here, we refer to this part. So S plus 1. Okay, so this one, S plus 1 is equal to 0. So S is actually minus 1. By replacing S equal to minus 1, the term here will become 0. And then we need to do the same thing. Okay, this one also S equal to minus 1. K1 no need because it did not contain any value, any term here. So K1 remain the same. So every value should, any S value should be equal to -1. So this one becomes 0. So you can see from here, if we consider 2 minus 1 plus 2 equal to K1, and then this one K2 minus 1 plus 1. So you can see this one becomes 0. So this one becomes 0. So minus 1 plus 2, even though we have still value, so division, K multiplied by 0, 0, divide by 0, also 0. So the whole thing become 0. So in the end, we only have 2 over 1 K. K1. So K1 is actually 2. Okay, so that one solve for K1. So we obtain K1 and then we move on for K2. K2 we do the same thing. For K2 also we need to do the same thing. Okay, but instead of S plus 1, okay, so the equation here K1 S plus 1 plus K2 S plus 2. Okay, so we already know K1. So right now we want to find K2. So repeat the whole thing. But right now the whole equation need to multiply with S plus 2. So it will become to find K2. To find K2, so 2 S plus 2 S plus 1 S plus 2 K1 S plus 2 S plus 1 plus K2 S plus 2 S plus 2. So we can rearrange. We can eliminate this term here. And then this one, no need. Okay. This one also we can eliminate. Again, we want to find K2. So we need to make this term here equal to 0. So what happens is that S plus 2 equal to 0. So S is equal to -2. So we need to replace S with -2. This part also S -2. So this one no need because we have only constant here. Okay, we have only constant value here. So the rest, okay, so we get 2 minus 2 plus 1. So this one becomes 0. Okay, K1 Q1 minus 2 minus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So you can see minus 2 plus 2 so become 0 become 0. So eventually everything will become 0 okay, so this part becomes 0 and then plus K2 K2. Okay, so K2 is equal to 2 divided by -1, so minus 2. So K2 would be minus 2. So we go back to the equation. So we know that this one we already transform into partial fraction form. K1, K2, S plus 2. So we know that K1 is actually 2, K2 is actually minus 2. So it will become 2 over S plus 1. Sorry, this one minus. So this one should be minus. Minus 2 S plus 2. So you can see from here. The form previously in the function of fs is actually in the form that we can consider as complex form. Okay, very difficult. So once we have applied partial fraction function, so you can see the form here become simpler. Simpler to what? Simpler to this one. So once we have obtained the simple form, so we just obtain this, try to compare with the existing table of inverse Laplace. So you can see from here, so the form is similar to this one. So you can see, so therefore we can relate with the transform table of inverse Laplace. So in the end, we move on. We start by finding the inverse Laplace. Inverse Laplace of Fs is equal to the 2 here, constant. This one, constant. Inverse Laplace of 1 over s plus 1 minus 2 inverse Laplace of 1 s plus 2. Okay, so now since the form is simple, so we can compare. So this one we can compare with the previous Laplace transform table. So this one is actually constant, 2 multiplied by exponential to the power of negative t ut t minus 2 multiplied by exponential to the power of negative 2t. Also ut. The function here is in the form of time or time domain. Okay, so that one conclude for example for case 1. Okay, so I think this one I will explain. Okay, so you can time is not permitted for me to continue, so I think I will just stop here. So we stop here. Okay, so ada soalan sebelum kita bersurai? Ada any question you want to ask before we stop here? Okay, so no question. So I think thank you very much for your attention. Terima kasih kerana bagi perhatian sepanjang kelas ni. Saya ucapkan selamat Hari Raya. Minta maaf kalau ada terkasar bahasa sepanjang kelas kita ni. Jadi kita akan berjumpa seminggu selepas Hari Raya lah. Okay, jadi minta datang lah. Okay, cukup sifat lah, cukup jari kaki, jari tangan apa semua lah. Okay, berhati-hati ya di jalan raya. Makan pun jaga lah. Okay, terima kasih ya. Itu saja. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Selamat Raya Doktor.